Good times. It's been a minute since the good times, good times. Yeah, but shout out to the good times, good times. I think it's time to have a good time, good time, good time, good time, good times, good times, da 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 da, good times, good times.
Hi guys, welcome to the craft room. It's me, Ambria, here with my first ever YouTube video, and today I will be showing you guys how to make these beautiful bling Converse that you can wear anywhere and be comfortable, all while being fabulous. My specific use for these will be my wedding. If you want to see more DIY projects, be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get into
Things you will need: E6000 glue, a gem tool or a toothpick, a paper plate, and your rhinestones. So you'll need these plastic bags, and basically what you'll want to do is place them on the inside of the shoe. And basically what you'll want to do is place these on the inside so that it'll help the shoe keep a form, because the shoe is very flimsy. So it will help when you're pressing the stones on, it'll help keep the shape of the shoe so that it won't bend too much. Shoes aren't new like mine, then on the back, if you want to remove the all-star, what you can use is some acetone and rub that off, and it'll come right off. Also, if you want to paint the bottom of your shoe, you'll need to tape off the canvas part and use acrylic paint to paint the entire bottom of the shoe. But you want to make sure you tape that part off. Guys, so basically what I'm doing here is just taking my X-Acto knife and I'm going along the sides of where the all-star is, where you can see the stitching, and all I'm doing is just gently pulling that up. Now you want to be careful because your shoes are canvas and you don't want to cut your shoes. You want to be very gentle, and it doesn't take much pressure to get the seams up. You can even flip the tongue of the shoe over, and you can even remove them from the inside. Okay guys, so to begin, you're going to start with the toe of the shoe, and what you're going to do is you're going to apply a little bit of E6000 glue. It doesn't take much, just a little bit of squeeze, and it'll go ahead and start coming out. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and do a small line, and then you're going to use your toothpick or your gem picker or whichever tool you chose, and you're just going to go ahead and start placing your stones as you see me do right now. Okay, so here I'm just showing you guys where I like to start, right there in the corner. And then you're just gonna go in the line. You can see where I applied the glue, and you're just gonna place those on one by one. Now, depending on how fast you can pick these stones up and put them on your shoe is gonna determine how long of a line or how big of an area that you place your E6000 glue on there. Okay guys, so here if you begin to mess up, you can use acetone. What I'm explaining right here in this part is that you can use acetone. I use acetone to get the all-star part off the back of the shoe, and you can also use acetone or alcohol to clean up any excess glue that you have, or you can also use a toothpick to scrape it off. Okay guys, so here you want to really be careful when you're pressing these stones. You don't want to put too much pressure because right here my stones kind of got out of whack. So you want to just be careful pressing them. It only takes a light touch. The E6000 glue will keep it in place good enough. Don't press too hard because they will get out of whack. Alright guys, let's move on to the next section. Okay, so here is me showing you guys. Okay, so remember I told you about pressing too hard. If you accidentally press too hard, or if you can't fit a stone in, because I was mixing and matching the stones for the beginning part of the toe part, which I forgot to mention. I was using the SS20 stones, and I was they're kind of big, so if you accidentally can't fit one in, you can substitute it for a smaller one, like I did on the finished product. As you can see, where I mix and match all the stones in, I use the combination of SS10, SS14, SS16, and SS20. In the description box, it'll have the complete use of all the stones that I use. It'll have the complete list of the ones that you'll need to purchase and how many I used for both of these shoes and this product. Woohoo! Okay, so you'll see me turn the TV down. I like to watch TV while I'm blinging things out, or at least listen to the TV. So we finally completed the toe part, and now we can move on. Congratulations if you've done the toe. Now I want to mention you can do this in any design. If you want to just do the toe, you can completely do that. If you want to do a certain design on the toe, you certainly can. So here we are. So for the toe part, I use, like I said, I use SS20 stones. There may be a few ones sprinkled in because I'm not perfect, and sometimes the stones don't fit. So the next part, what we're going to move on to, is the siding. So you want to start with the side, and you want to start at the tip right where the shoelaces begin, and you want to do the part that's under the seam. So in a minute you'll see me guys showing you where you need to start, which is right at the seam. You want to begin right under the seam and all the way up. You want to save the shoelace part last, and for this entire part on the side, I'm going to be mixing my SS20 stones with the 14s, the 16s, and some of the 10s if it doesn't fit. Now when I was rubbing my finger, I'm also going to be doing an ombre in the back of the shoe. Is going to be fading from pink to silver, so I'll also stop the video and explain to you guys how I did that also. But for the side part, you're going to continue to do the same thing like you did for the toe. You're just going to put the glue on in a small section and work your way all the way to the back. This is where I used my pink SS20 rhinestones, and I'm going to first, when you first put these stones on the plate, you want to make sure they're all facing in the right direction. That's just a personal preference that I have because it makes the process easier and it makes it faster for me. So what you see me doing is flipping all the stones with my hand. The SS20s are big enough to where you can flip them over with your hands, and I'm just getting as many of them to face the right way as I can. Now what I'm doing is going to start from the back of the shoe, and I'm going to mix these stones going towards the toe of the shoe. I'm applying the glue right at the top where that little rectangle is at the back of the shoe. For my shoe, I wear size 11. It was about, I believe, 3 stones across. And of course, if you're doing a smaller shoe like a baby shoe, you will be using less. But I try to get it right on the edge where that seam is, all the way to the other edge where the other seam is, as you'll see me do in the video. And if your shoe, my shoes are not new, this was like a revamping project that I wanted to do. So if your shoe is new, like I've been saying throughout this entire video, you won't have to deal with these painful creases that are in your shoe. But if you are doing this project as a revamping of your shoe like I am, then you want to just stick your finger inside the shoe and flatten out that crease. So once you've done this back part where the rectangle is, I'll walk you through how to go ahead and start to fade the different colors into each other. So for my personal preference, I'm going to take the rows down to the side of where that seam is. I'm going to do about 3 to 4 rows on either side of where that seam is. And then you guys will see where I begin to put the stones, the pink stones, where that silver part is, where the silver stones and the pink stones will begin to ombre. So depending on how you mix your colors, whether you want to do the ombre or whether you do single colored stones, this will determine how you do this back part. I personally chose to do an ombre, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a few rows that are beside the seam. Okay, so now I'm going to begin my ombre. So right here where I have my silver stones, I'm going to go ahead and apply my glue, and then I'm going to place my stones one by one, and I'm going to scatter them where the silver is, and then I'm going to fill in the spaces with my mixed silver stones. So you'll see me guys do that, and you want to just apply enough glue to maybe about feel to where you can see 2 rows. So for me, I do 2 to 3 rows. You know how you go vertical, 2 to 3 rows and put that amount of glue. Not too large of an area, but you also don't want too small of an area, because the way I scatter my stones, I put them at kind of an angle, so like the one in the middle is a little further out than the 2 on the sides, and I actually put four down. And now you're going to fill in these spaces with your silver stones and just fill that in. Now I'm moving on to my second row of scattered stones. You want to just place 2 to 3, not very many, because keep in mind this is an ombre. So once you place your 2 random ones, you just fill the rest in with your silver stones, remembering to mix the sizes as you go. Or if your personal preference is using the same size stones, then you can do that also. So now I'm done scattering my stones in. As you can see, it's just a few into the silver to give it more of an ombre look, kind of, you know, like a scattered look, like, you know, it's fading in. And now I'm gonna get my pink and I'm gonna make it heavier and heavier. And now I'm gonna fill the rest in with the pink stones all the way to that finished part. And you can make your ombre heavier or as light as you want. This was my first time doing it, and it was kind of an experiment, so I wanted to go kind of light. On the other shoe I messed up. This is where I'm looking at the other shoe, because I messed up on the other one. That was the first one that I did, and what I did was I scattered the silver into the pink, but I realized that that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to ombre the pink into the silver stones and not the other way around. Now it's time to move on to our shoelace part. So for this part, it works the same way as the rest of the shoe. You just want to remember to take it slow. You want to go as far as you can. So for me, I like to start around the circle, and I do like one whole circle at a time. But there are other people who can do two at a time. I don't even really go in a specific pattern. I actually just kind of do the trim and then go around the circles and then fill in completely random. Also because in between where the shoelace circles are, sometimes I can fit larger stones and sometimes I can't. So you just want to kind of play with it and take your time and complete that part. Now it's time to celebrate because you finished one whole side. That's right, half your shoe is done. It looks good, doesn't it, girl? I know. Now it's time to go and move on to the other side. But before we move on, we need to let that side dry, because if you want this process to go the fastest, then you're gonna have to lay your shoe down, or you're gonna have to hold it, and you don't want your stones to get messed up, and you don't want the oils of your hands to mess with the glue and turn it foggy. So we're gonna let this sit and dry for 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour. Go get some food, rest your arms, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do the shoelace part that's on the tongue, and then I'm gonna let it dry. So I'm just gonna add a few stones to this part just to give it a little extra flair, and then we're gonna let it dry. For my shoe, you know, adult shoes, I was able to fit 3 stones across, but of course if you're doing this for a baby shoe, you won't be able to fit that many across, but you just want to eye it, and you can use whatever color you want. I used pink, and you just want to lay them as neatly as possible across the top and then go all the way down to the bottom. Now you don't want them to touch the actual tongue of the shoe, because you're gonna have to put shoelaces under there, and you don't want them to fall off. So we've let the other side dry, and off camera what I did was I went ahead and finished the other part, only because it was really hard to do on camera, and this video of me doing the shoelace part was already 45 minutes. So I'm gonna leave this. I left this part in because I wanted to give you guys another look at how to do that part, and the ombre part. I wanted to show you guys how to do the ombre part again, and the shoelace part again, because those can be the most trickiest parts. So off camera I did the beginning part. I'm going to show you guys how to do the ombre again and the shoelace part. All right, side number 2, let's get it. So just like the beginning part, right here where my silver stones end, you're just going to take a few colored stones, whatever color you chose, and you're just going to sprinkle them in, just a few, and then you're going to gradually work it towards the other part that's the most colored part, just the same as the first one. And there you have an ombre, a stoned rhinestone ombre. So here we are again, back at the shoelace part. I think they're called eyelets, I'm not sure. Shoelace part, you just want to go as far up as you can, because the glue, it doesn't dry super fast, but it does dry kind of fast. Like, it's when you put the stones on, if you make a mistake and you need to move one, you can. It's very forgiving, but it does dry kind of fast. Like, it can't take forever. So if you're just starting out, or you're just beginning working, if this is your first time working with E6000 glue, I would definitely do small sections only, because you don't want to pile glue on top of glue, because your stones won't lay flat and they won't sit even. So for the sake of this video being so long, this part is more like a time lapse, but you get the idea. All you want to do is just keep laying those stones. I had to speed this part up super fast, but it's still the same as the rest of the beginning video. Alrighty guys, so here is our finished product, all nice and neat and finished. Alrighty, finally got it done. So what you want to do for the next step is you want to go ahead and take the bags out, and you're gonna get some ribbon, whatever kind of ribbon you want. I use white satin ribbon, and what you want to do is you want to burn the ends of this so that it doesn't get frayed, and then you're gonna lace these up like normal shoes.
I've been looking for a good time, good time. It's been a minute since the good times, good times. Yeah, but shout out to the good times, good times. I think it's time to have a good time, good time, good time, good time, good times, good times, da 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 da, good times, good times, da 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 da, good times, good times. I need the good times. Tell me something more about the good times. It's been